So we're just minutes away from the start of the Mexico City E-Prix of 2023. The grid is cleared. You can get involved by scanning the QR code and play the Formula E predictor. And the grandstands are rammed. And that is Jake Dennis, who will be lining up in second place on the grid. A real surprise to see the Avalanche Andretti team right at the front of the field with the Porsche powertrain in the back of it. They worked non-stop over the Christmas break. Roger Griffith said they basically didn't have a Christmas break after pre-season testing in Valencia. But on pole position for the dawn of a new era, it's the man who won the first ever Formula E race in Beijing back in 2014. It's Lucas di Grassi. He's won here in Mexico before. Can he do it again? Here in the oldest capital city in the Americas, a new era is about to dawn at the 2023 Hankook Mexico City E-Prix. We have new teams, new drivers, a brand new electric race car, but I can still guarantee the trademark action in the opening round of the ABB FIA Formula One World Championship. And we are here at the circuit Hermanos Rodriguez, a circuit that has hosted Formula E races since Season 2. Attack mode is in the Foro Sol Baseball Stadium, where tens of thousands of fans will be watching on. Turn 1 will be one of the main overtaking points on the circuit. There's a new chicane at turns 9, 10 and 11, which again could provide an overtaking opportunity, but then the Foro Sol is where all of the fans are, and the exit of turn 15 is where attack mode is placed for this afternoon's E-Prix. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary box is the former Avalanche Andretti driver Oliver Askew, and this is the starting grid. Bird and Roland are on the back row. Robin Freins making his first race for the Abt team in 19th place, just ahead of Norman Nato. Then it's Nico Muller in the other Abt car, behind Max Günther in the Maserati MSG Racing. His teammate Eduardo Mortara is 16th on the grid. René Rast disappointed to only be 15th with his teammate a lot further up the order. A real shock. Reigning champion Stoffel Vandoorne for DS Penske, 14th on the grid. Nick Cassidy is 12th, just behind the other DS Penske of Jean-Eric Vergne. The pre-season favourites, neither of them making into the top 10. Antonio Felix da Costa's first race with Porsche, and he will start 9th on the grid ahead of Mitch Evans. Sacha Fenestraz was superb in qualifying to go 8th on his debut in the Nissan. Pascal Wehrlein will line up 6th, and a career best qualifying for Dan Ticktum, 5th on the grid for the Neo 333 team. Andre Losser is 4th for Avalanche Andretti after making a mistake in his qualifying semi-final. Jake Hughes in his debut is 3rd. Jake Dennis is 2nd for Avalanche Andretti. And the pole sitter is the man who won the first ever Formula E race in Beijing in 2014, Lucas di Grassi. We are set to have 36 laps of racing. No more timed racing, it's all about the laps this afternoon. And as I say, Oliver Askew, the man who raced in the Mexico City E-Prix here last season, is alongside me in the commentary booth. There's the Foro Sol Baseball Stadium, absolutely packed. What's it like racing around there?
So much energy,
really.
I can tell you. These electric cars are quiet, as we know, and it's a fantastic sensation as a driver to hear the chants from this crowd, not only in the stadium, but on the front straight as well before the lights go out here in a couple of moments.
Here come the burnouts. We were looking forward to this as they move from the dummy grid to the main grid, trying to get some temperature in those rear tyres. And these brand new Formula E cars for this season have so much power that they really burn out well. And I'm really interested to see what the starts are. 220 kilowatts off the line last year, 300 kilowatts off the line this year, and putting the power down has been something that the drivers have found really, really tricky. We're in position. New era of Formula E about to get underway. Brand new car, brand new season. Di Grassi's on pole. All 5 lights are on, and we go green in Mexico City. It's a decent getaway from Di Grassi. It's a very good start from Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes in the orange McLaren to the outside of turn 1. Can't quite do it. Sacha Fenestraz is going full attack into the first corner, and he's got ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Everybody's safely through the first turn, with Di Grassi leading in the Mahindra. Dennis is second in the Andretti. Third is Jake Hughes in the Lotterer, ahead of Lotterer. Nick Ticktum is fifth. Verline is sixth. Fenestraz ahead of Buemi and up into seventh place. Now they fan out, coming down into the hairpin right-hander at turns 5 and 6. Great side-by-side action through the middle of the pack. Someone getting squeezed under the grass almost. I think that might be Buemi fighting with Da Costa, potentially in the Porsche. It is, as they come into the chicane for the first time. Everybody neatly through there as well. Evans very, very close to a bit of contact with Jean-Eric Vergne. And he's having to work hard to defend his position. Freins has dropped down to the back of the field, but Lucas Di Grassi leading the way into the Forosol for the first time. Jake Dennis from second on the grid, Oliver, didn't get a great start, but he managed to hold his position.
No, he was on the dirty side of the grid there. Not easy to put the power down, especially with this extra power in this Gen 3 car. 100 kilowatts more power than Gen 2. We have to keep in mind, these tires are nowhere near up to temperature, so very surprised to see a clean first lap here in Mexico City.
Yeah, so Di Grassi leading the way across the line. At the end of the first lap, we've got 21 runners. Robin Freins is out by the looks of things. The Dutchman is out of the E-Prix, having started towards the back of the grid, and the safety car is deployed. Safety car deployed. That's Thomas Biermeier, the boss of the app team. Safety car deployed on lap 2 of 36 because Robin Freins is off the circuit, so we can calm down a little and regroup. It's the top 10 that score points. Vergne made up a couple of places, then lost a couple of places. There, Freins is off the chicane, so let's see what happened to him. On the outside, oh, he got hit from behind, which sent him into the back of Nato. That was a very odd one indeed.
I say that we were clean on the first lap.
Yeah.
We just didn't see that picture. Nothing he could have done there.
So is it Bird that's gone into
Bird.
the back of him?
An accordion effect there in turn 9 chicane. Everyone's stacking.
So lap 2 of 63. Freins still in the car, but that's just procedural until he's told he can get out of the car. He has to remain in the car, and he'll have got the front. Looked like he's got quite a decent chunk of front left suspension damage there. Oh, and there's a bit of bodywork further around the circuit as well. So Di Grassi is leading here. Dennis is second. Hughes is third. Lotterer fourth. And fifth is Dan Ticktum. They'll pick up the safety car at the exit of the first corner. Statistically, the pole sitter is more likely to retire from this race than to win it. The pole sitter has retired 3 times in the Mexico City E-Prix in 6 races. The pole sitter has only won it twice. But Lucas Di Grassi, whenever he's led a lap in Mexico City, he's crossed the line first. So things are, he's got mixed omens, Lucas Di Grassi, up at the front now that he's behind the Porsche safety car.
Brazilian fans will take the positive.
Yeah.
Lucas Di Grassi has fantastic memories here. One of the most epic finishes in Formula E history, passing Pascal Wehrlein.
Let me know if the race gets extended 1 lap or not.
So there's, last year we had added time. This year, depending on how long we're behind the safety car, laps can be added to the race distance. We'll find that out towards the end of the E-Prix, but that's why Di Grassi's asking, keep me updated if the race is going to be extended by a few laps, because that will play into the team's energy management. Now here's a look at Sam Bird's view of this incident. Coming into the chicane now, that's Robin Freins ahead. Oh, he didn't get hit, Freins. Oh, how strange. So that must have been a bit of a software problem or something. It looked as though I fully and unreservedly apologized to Sam Bird, but it felt from that onboard as though Freins got hit.
Yeah, maybe just didn't expect everyone to slow down so much through that corner.
Well, again, apologies to Sam Bird and those 2 former teammates for a couple of seasons at the Envision team. The safety car deployed at the moment. Hopefully Bird's car will be removed before too long. Here's Bird's radio.
Yeah, I was just trying to under-consume massively.
So Bird just talking to Phil Ingram on the radio. Norman Nato has come into the pits as well for some reason. Jake Hughes there in third place. That is the McLaren team. Zak Brown, the CEO at McLaren Racing, here this weekend. Norman Nato is retiring in the Nissan, and he was the one who got hit, wasn't he, by Freitz. So that will probably be why he's out of the race. And the McLaren man, Jake Hughes, in third place. And it's a new entry, McLaren. It's a new team, but they've basically brought out all of the Mercedes EQ personnel from last season. So Ian James, the team principal, still there. The race engineers are all there as well. So there is Roger Griffiths, the Avalanche Andretti team principal, watching Dennis in second and Lotterer in fourth at the moment. And they're just keeping a bit of a gap to Lucas Di Grassi while we are behind the safety car here. Robin Freitz and Norman Nato, 2 retirements from the opening lap. That's Fred Bertrand, who's the new team principal at Mahindra Racing.
So anyway, to turn DMC off. Safety car, man, it's pulling me slowing down quite a lot.
So, Dennis saying anyway to turn DMC off. Do you know what DMC stands for?
I'm not
Is
sure.
that new this year?
I'm not sure.
But it sounds like it's some kind of engine that's kind of pulling him forwards when he's trying to slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly some performance software in the car that he's trying to turn off now because he's going so slow behind the safety car. Efficient driving doesn't stop when the safety car comes out. You're trying to carry as much momentum as possible. And in your car at home, if you have a bunch of green lights driving back from work, you're using a lot less fuel than you are if you were stopping.
Here's a look at the start. You can see that Jake Hughes got to the outside there, but couldn't quite make the move. Fenestras got aggressive around the outside of Buemi, which was a lovely move to get up into 7th place. Oh, René Rast, the second McLaren, so the orange car, all the way back on the right-hand side. He got so close to the wall with one of the Maserati MSG teams. Here they come. Watch this final McLaren here. They go 3 wide in and just about managed to make it through. Here's a look at the view on board from Stoffel Vandoorne. Good getaway, got ahead of Cassidy, but Sete Camera covered the inside and tried to get to the outside of Sete Camera, but decided against it. Safety car coming in this lap. Lap 5 of 36 in the opening race of the season in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. We're about to start lap 6 of 36 with Lucas Di Grassi leading the way in the Mahindra. His first race with this new team, and he's backing the pack up now. When will he decide to floor the throttle? How alert will Jake Dennis be behind him? Will anyone be able to make a move down into the first corner? There goes Di Grassi now. Gets on the power. We're on board with Dennis as he tries to follow him. Green flag racing once more as we come out of the final corner and down the start-finish straight. And Di Grassi's got a pretty good restart here. Hughes is fairly close to Jake Dennis coming down towards turn 1, but not close enough to make a move. Not a big gap back to Mitch Evans. Vandoorne is looking to the inside of Cassidy into the first corner, but everybody still settles back in their place. But Lotterer is looking the most racy, I would say, out of the top 4 at the moment. But then when is Lotterer not looking racy?
Exactly. It's in Andretti's best interest at the moment for Lotterer to overtake the McLaren, just to give Jake a bit of a buffer here. Can relax a bit more, potentially save some energy and focus on the race in front of him.
Drive shaft's gone. Randomly, drive shaft's gone.
That's Sam Bird. Drive shaft gone, so that is probably him. Oh, it is him out of the race. Inside of turn 2.
A mechanical failure. Nothing to do with software, I don't think.
Sam Bird said to me on the grid, I don't think anything else can go wrong today because he's had such a horrible weekend. With nothing of his own doing, all just mechanical and electronical errors in the Jaguar, and that is another one. And the safety car is deployed again. So safety car deployed again.
This has to cause some overtime now, maybe some laps added to the end of the race.
So that's a real frustration for everybody, really. There is Bird pulled over at the side of the circuit on the inside of turn 2.
This should be quick. They can pull him backwards into the pit exit. We should be able to get going again. Di Grassi with a solid restart there.
Yeah.
You can see it's.
Thought we were going to hear a bit of Bird radio there, but yeah, Di Grassi with a very solid restart, as you say. So we are on lap 7 of 36, behind the safety car in the first Formula E race of the season. It's Bird said, when it rains it pours, on the radio, and it's been a tough one for Bird. Here's Di Grassi's radio. And this was, this was Bird pulling over at the side of the circuit.
Just on acceleration out of turn 1,
Yeah.
I think he just snapped the drive shaft there. Maybe we can hear it. Oh, it let go on the exit of the final corner.
That's very mechanical.
Yes. You can hear the regen there. Slowing down the car. Nope, that's not where you want to park.
Bird out of the race. A really tough season last year for Sam Bird. James Barkley, the Jaguar TCS Racing team principal. Frustrated with that one. His other car, Mitch Evans, is in 10th place. How is it? Here's Dennis, who's running in second place.
Safety car restarts. Upon restart, we will need to stay sharp regarding attack mode.
So they'll need to stay sharp regarding attack mode. So this year, you get 4 minutes of attack mode. So instead of running at 300 kilowatts, you get to run at 350 kilowatts for 4 minutes during the race. You have 2 intervals in which to do that. So you can either do 2 minutes, and then a bit later another 2 minutes, or you can do 1 minute and then a bit later 3 minutes, or 3 minutes and then a bit later 1 minute. And that is entirely at the teams and drivers' discretion, basically. And there's such an interesting element of who will blink first in attack mode. And they've moved the attack mode activation zone as well to be on the outside of turn 15. So it's a different place. You'll probably lose a place when you take attack mode as well. So Sam Bird's car being recovered, and we should be going racing again fairly soon, hopefully, as the safety car is deployed out there. But yeah, new attack mode strategy this season, and I'm fascinated to see how it pans out. What are you expecting?
Yeah, you heard that radio message from Sean McGill, Jake's engineer now for a couple of years at Andretti Autosport. It's very situational. So depending on what they decide pre-race, what the plan is going into the race, Jake may take attack with Di Grassi. He may try to do the opposite and save it for later. But once you pre-select that strategy, whether you're going to take 1 minute and 3 minute, 2 and 2, you're stuck with that strategy from the first attack sequence. So it's going to be interesting to see here. It's the first time we've had this attack strategy in Formula E.
Robin Freins is out of the race, and it's not the most exciting stat, but I'll give it to you anyway. Robin Freins completed 2 full seasons without a retirement in Formula E, which is the first time that's ever been done. I don't know if anyone had ever done 1 before, but Robin Freins has done 2 full years without a retirement. He has now had a retirement, hasn't started this one. The cars are going to go through the pit lane this time in order to avoid the recovery vehicle that's down the start-finish straight, recovering Sam Bird's car. But that is a good sign, because it means that we should be going
there could be a
racing the
possibility
next
that
lap.
the safety car could be coming through the... Yeah, safety car is coming through the pit lane. Safety car is coming through the pit lane. It's official now.
So, safety car running through the pit lane. What do you feel as a driver when the safety car comes out? Does it depend are you sometimes like, oh, that's a bit of a relief, I can have a rest, or sometimes you're like, come on.
If you're Lucas Di Grassi, it depends how much of a lead you have, right?
Yeah.
So the safety car comes out, it's a different to virtual safety car. Safety car comes out, and whatever cushion you have to the car behind, that'll be completely absorbed. So for Jake Dennis here, it's a good sign. He's going to have another chance at Lucas di Grassi when they go green. In a virtual safety car, you keep the gaps around other drivers.
So the car's through the pit lane and back out again. Here's Jake Dennis.
Okay, so we've got Pascal just behind Lotterer. He's managed to overtake Ticktum. That can play out pretty well for us.
How aware did you want to be of the sort of order behind you? Safety car will be coming in this lap, actually. So let's just have a quick look at how the energy is going at the moment. Lucas di Grassi has slightly less usable energy available than Dennis, Hughes, Lotterer and Wehrlein, but in the early stages everyone's pretty even. Maybe Sette Camera a little bit less than Ticktum, but broadly speaking we're all at about 86, 87%. So safety car in this lap. We're about to get going again. Is di Grassi going to do the same move, or is he going to wait a little later? He looks quite close to the safety car this time.
It's going to have to be in a different spot. He's going to have to accelerate in a different spot.
Look how spread out the back of the field is as well. He's gone, I think.
He's gone. So at a bit... Oh, no, not yet.
Now he goes. So Lucas di Grassi gets the race back underway, coming through the Peraltada and down the start-finish straight. I tell you what, Dennis and Hughes are quite close to the back of him. But just as they come out onto the front stretch, di Grassi builds the advantage a little bit. Down into the first corner again in these brand new Formula E cars for season 9.
And they look fast at the end of the straight.
Yeah. di Grassi, Dennis, Hughes, Lotterer and Wehrlein are the top 5. Mahindra, Andretti, McLaren, Andretti and Porsche. 3 Porsche-powered cars actually in the top 5 positions at the moment, because Andretti are a Porsche customer team. But it's Lucas di Grassi leading the way for Mahindra as it stands. 2 Mexico City wins under his belt before. 1 World Championship under his belt before from season 3. Now we're on board with Jake Hughes in 3rd in the Neon McLaren. This is his Formula E debut, and he's running in 3rd place. Very good stuff from Hughes.
Very impressive, and Lucas would have been told that he's 1% less energy than the 2 cars behind. That's definitely something that he's going to want to take care of.
Now Cassidy and Van Dorn have both activated their first attack mode. Cassidy doing it for 1 minute and Van Dorn going for 3 minutes. So Cassidy is doing a 1 then 3 and Van Dorn is doing a 3 then 1 strategy. So that'll be interesting as they come down into the first corner. Van Dorn didn't make much progress off the start. There he is in the number 1 car, but here are the front 3 again. And Wehrlein's very close to the back of the Lotterer car ahead of him, the 2 teammates from last year. You can see here on the left-hand side, everyone has 4 minutes of attack mode. Cassidy and Van Dorn, in their next attack mode, will have 3 and 1 minute left, respectively.
This attack sequence might trigger drivers in front of Cassidy and Van Dorn to start going through those loops. They are now on the outside of the stadium section, last year on the inside, so you do lose a bit of time, potentially a position or 2. So you want to build that gap behind before you take the attack.
You need 2 tenths.
And don't know if he did it there, Dennis. They said push for attack. I don't think he did by the looks of things. So
it was a late call. He was already there,
wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, the radio messages we play are delayed, but only by, I don't know, a few seconds. Like it's not a huge delay on the radio messages.
I don't think he took it, but it might be this lap.
Here we go with Van Dorn. He is in attack mode, and he's going to get Nick Cassidy here down into turn 1. Looks to the inside. Through he goes. And through goes Van Dorn, and through to the lead goes Dennis. Jake Dennis takes the lead of the Mexico City E-Prix. di Grassi down to 2nd place. So, Dennis goes through. But here comes di Grassi trying to get back. He's got good drive out of the corner. But now Jake Hughes is trying to take advantage of that. Coming down towards the chicane. Hughes covers the inside. Lotterer goes towards the outside. But Jake Dennis has caught di Grassi napping there a little bit and lunged him at turn 3, kind of out of nowhere. Lap 12 of 36. Dennis in the lead, and look at the advantage he's built up over di Grassi already as they come back into the stadium section. Dennis leads, di Grassi 2nd, Hughes in 3rd. None of the top 10 have taken attack mode yet.
that radio transmission, as we see Evans go through attack there, the radio transmission to Jake earlier on might have meant go for the overtake.
Yeah. Potentially. And also Dan Ticktum has a drive-through penalty for overpower. Such a shame for Dan Ticktum. That'll be a software glitch for the Neo team, which means that he's had a power spike at some point, used more than the 300 kilowatts he's allowed, and he is now serving a drive-through penalty. And Degrassi made a mistake. That's the replay in the bottom right.
Okay.
So that was Degrassi making a mistake, and that is what allowed Dennis to get through. He got wide coming out of the first corner.
He's pulled the gap now.
Yeah. So Dennis leading. That's Degrassi in second place. Hughes in third. Lotterer in fourth position. Lap 13 of 36. Jake Dennis's radio.
Use attack. Use attack.
And that is use attack because he has the margin to do it now. Jake Dennis up at the front. Through he goes. So Dennis activates his first attack mode for 1 minute. So they're doing a 1 minute, then a 3 minute strategy for Dennis. And he's the first driver really in the top 10, apart from Da Costa, who's just activated it for 2 minutes to use his attack mode. So Dennis is now looking in a strong position. And
very strong.
He said to you on the grid, didn't he? Main concern was Hughes and the McLaren powertrain, or the Nissan powertrain in the back of the McLaren. So we'll see what happens with that. Lap 14 of 36. This is a fight for 6th place. Sasha Fenestraz up ahead Sebastian Buemi as they continue to squabble. Here's Degrassi.
Try and go with Dennis.
So Wehrlein is right behind Andre Lotterer here. These two teammates from last season. Lap 14 of 36.
Jake has to be careful here. Extra power means more wheel spin. Wheel spin means wasting energy. So very easy on the throttle. These tires don't overheat as easily as last year's. So thermal degradation not as much of an issue.
So Wehrlein in 5th position activates his first attack mode. So he's going for 2 minutes and 2 minutes of attack mode. You can see the different strategies there. Fastest lap of the race from Jake Dennis. 1.1 seconds ahead of Degrassi that time. And then it's Hughes in third, Lotterer in fourth. Degrassi's dropping back a little, isn't he? Here's Dennis's radio.
Okay, both cars same energy, both cars same energy. Mode 2 now, mode 2 now.
So when he's saying both cars, does he mean both Andretti's?
The sister car would be same energy as him, because that's information that they have back on the pit wall. They don't know what other cars' status of energy is until they put it on the broadcast.
So lap 15 of 36. Jake Dennis pulling away. That is Oliver Askew, the former Andretti driver, alongside me in commentary. Jake Dennis's teammate from last season.
And go and take attack this lap, you'll be racing the line. Go and take attack this lap, you'll be racing the line.
And Lotterer comes out behind Wehrlein. So Lotterer activates 1 minute of attack mode. He's come out behind Pascal Wehrlein, though, who's up into 4th place.
Who's in attack as well.
So, Wehrlein did it for 2 minutes. So Lotterer's he's only gonna have about 10 seconds of extra attack mode compared to Wehrlein. Hughes did it as well on this lap, so that's a 1 minute run for Jake Hughes. Look at the energy remaining here as well. Degrassi's not in good shape, energy-wise, and coming into turn 3, Buemi is still looking racy with Da Costa, but isn't able to do it. Dennis leading, Degrassi is second, third is Hughes, fourth is Wehrlein, fifth is Lotterer. Then there's a gap back to Sasha Fenestraz. They're in 6th position, just ahead of Da Costa in 7th, Buemi 8th, 9th is Evans, 10th is Jean-Eric Verne. Gap at the front for Jake Dennis, 1.8 seconds now.
And the Porsche powertrains all have very similar energy with an advantage over the rest at the moment. Avalanche Andretti running, or Degrassi radio.
Take attack mode.
So Degrassi in 2nd place activates attack mode for 1 minute. So he's doing 1 minute, then 3 minutes, Lucas di Grassi, for the Mahindra team. And
good attack sequence for him. He had the gap on Hughes and made it happen. So no loss of position.
17 of 36. Jake Dennis is leading 3.4 seconds ahead of Lucas di Grassi here. He's really building a lead. This continuing squabble between Buemi and Da Costa continues, but Da Costa holds the place. But it's this fight for second, third, fourth and fifth that is really the one to watch, because di Grassi's the stopper in the bottle at the moment, and he's allowing Dennis to get away. There's Norman Nato out of the race after that contact with Robin Freins on the opening lap. Watching his teammate Sasha Fennestrau's running in 6th position, but this is the fight all over second place.
Jake's driving away.
Yeah.
Really taking advantage of that attack, and now he's 3.6 seconds ahead of di Grassi.
Just to give you lap 17 of 36, and Jake Dennis's lead is 3.7 seconds here. Lucas di Grassi doing his best to hold everyone off for second position. On board with di Grassi, running in second, looking back at the cars chasing him, and comes across the line, loses another 0.4 of a second. The gap for Dennis is almost up to 4 seconds now, up at the front. He's ramping away. And romping away, and ramping up the gap, all of these things, as he comes out down towards turns 5 and 6. Edo Mortara is dropping down the tower on the left-hand side. He's in the barriers. Mortara for the Maserati MSG crew, out of the race, facing backwards in the wall.
That's going to be a safety car.
Could well be. Lap 18 of 36, the Maserati MSG crew had a difficult qualifying. James Rossiter's their new team principal. They are the Venturi team from last year, just renamed as the Monaco Sports Group with a Maserati powertrain. Let's see what happened to Edo. Oh, he's by himself and just
lost the rear.
Carries too much speed in. No contact.
In some dirty air there from the car in front, just lost the rear at the apex. Maybe a bit too much rear locking.
Lap 18 of 36.
So
the safety car is deployed again.
Not what Jake wanted to see.
Yeah. No, that's true, because he was, even if he was managing his energy well, which I'm sure he was, you're still wasting that energy building a gap up, because you could have just sat in front of di Grassi and kept the same or kept more energy than before. So that's an interesting part for Jake Dennis.
As a driver, at least he knows he has the pace.
So lap 19 of 36, safety car deployed here in Mexico City, opening race of the season. Eduardo Mortara has crashed out of the race and is waiting to get recovered once the safety car comes out.
But just be aware that the car might shut down. Be aware that the car might shut down.
Oh. So Lotterer, I think, has a bit of a problem going on inside his Andretti, and so the team are just making him aware of the problems. This is Mortara's 4th time in the last 5 races that he's failed to score points. The one race he didn't fail to score points, he won. Such a hit and miss last few races, I have to say, for Eduardo Mortara. He is okay, and the car will be recovered as quickly as possible.
So Andre may have an alarm that he's reported back to the pit wall. Maybe a software issue for that car.
Now, just an update on Robin Freins here. We saw him involved in that accident at the start of the race. He's actually broken his left wrist in that, and will need to undergo an operation here in Mexico. So sorry to hear that for Robin Freins. And hopefully he can be back for Diriyah, but we'll wait and see. Sam Bird had a sort of similar incident last year, and that put him out for Seoul. There is Eduardo Mortara making his way back to the pit lane.
Okay, so we banked quite a bit there. Mode 1 is going to help us out on the restart, so make the most of it.
And Dennis being given some information on the radio. That Robin Freintz news coming from the team. So best wishes to Robin. Lap 20 of 36. Safety car going through the pit lane. Worth pointing out, we do have an hour's time limit on this race as well. So it's laps or 1 hour time limit, whichever expires first. And we'll of course keep you up to date with that as we go. Everybody going through the pit lane now because of the recovery to Eduardo Mortara down at the first corner. The Andretti team saying that
same level
Andre
as
does
Hughes,
have an issue.
same level as Hughes. Okay, 1% less than Pascal, 1% less.
Dennis being given the updates on energy around him, and there you can see the updates for yourself. De Grassi really working hard to try and keep that position, isn't he? Using energy at the moment, but as I say, in the other Andretti, the team are trying to work through the problem. He does have an issue, but the team are trying to work through it, say, the Andretti squad. But their other car, Jake Dennis, is leading the way. It looked as though the Mortara car was almost cleared as he ended up in the barriers, driving his new Maserati down a bit of a dead-end street down there at turn 1. Jake Dennis is leading the way. De Grassi second, Hughes third, Wehrlein fourth, Lotterer fifth, Fenestraz sixth. Safety car coming in this lap, so we'll be going racing once again. And we'll see what Dennis can do on this restart. He's got a good chunk of energy compared to De Grassi. And when's he going to go as well? And it's so difficult in the pack here.
We have same energy than Wehrlein, 1% more than Hughes in front and 2% more than De Grassi in front as well. So Wehrlein
So
on
that's
energy.
Lotterer getting told the energy readouts there as well. There goes Dennis. Floors the throttle, safety car comes in. We go racing once again in Mexico City. Green flag waved, and Dennis is the race leader for the Avalanche Andretti team. Lucas Di Grassi is second for Mahindra. Jake Hughes is third in the McLaren. Fourth is Pascal Wehrlein. Fifth is Andre Lotterer. They're all a bit spread out coming down towards turn 1 this time. Swinging it through the right-hander. If anyone looks closest, I think it's Wehrlein. He's looking quite racy on the back of Jake Hughes. Through the left-hander. And Wehrlein has more energy than those ahead of him. So it's sort of not quite now or never for the winner of last year's E-Prix here, but now's the time to make a bit of progress, because often the first sort of half of Formula E races, you know, consolidating your position and then playing with your energy in the second half of the race.
This is when it starts to turn up. 15 laps to go now. Drivers are going to get much more aggressive. I do want to point out Porsche was 1-2 last year and now have 4 powertrains in the top 7, so something with them in Mexico is clicking the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Here they come through the Foro Sol and out of the stadium once more, with Jake Dennis leading. There's the view back from Jake Hughes in third place, making his Formula E debut, the 28-year-old from Birmingham. Race winner in Formula 3, raced in Formula 2 as well. Never really with a sort of big hitter team, and he's been very, very impressive on his debut weekend here in Formula E. He was the Mercedes EQ development driver last season when they won the championship. Wehrlein's really, really close here. How difficult is it to keep managing your targets and keep, you know, doing what you need to with the energy when you have someone trying to overtake you?
Very difficult, and these drivers have an energy bar that's constantly moving through the lap. And you want to get that towards the middle as you cross the finish line, hitting your energy targets. But say you're defending from the car behind, you're going to want to get that energy back in the tank at some point before the lap ends, or else your race strategy is going to get a bit slower.
We'll see Dennis do attack because he's so far ahead of everyone. He doesn't, but he's got such a big advantage. 1.2 seconds now for Dennis, all queued up behind Lucas Di Grassi in second position in the Mahindra. Third is the papaya orange McLaren. Fourth is Pascal Wehrlein in the Porsche. Lotterer is fifth. Fenestraz, Da Costa, Buemi, Evans and Byrne are the top 10. at the moment. So out over the start-finish straight we go. Jake Dennis leading the way for Avalanche Andretti. Lap 23 of 36. Second is Degrassi. Third is Hughes. And fourth is Verlaine. And Lotterer is coming under big pressure from Sasha Fenestraz as well. I think Lotterer is struggling a little with this. Actually, I apologise. It was Fenestraz under pressure from Da Costa. So it was the 6th and 7th that is the very close fight. At 23 of 36.
Big midfield fight there, as we see. Evans, Verne, Van Dorn, Cassidy all together. The points are up at the front. Dennis, we can expect him to take his next attack once he has built a sufficient gap to Degrassi in second.
Here comes second, third, fourth and fifth. Pascal Wehrlein running in fourth.
Negative.
So
that was Wehrlein obviously a bit earlier in the lap.
The engineers out on the pit wall have a much broader picture of what's going on in the race. So, of course, the drivers can ask if they should take attack when they feel like they need to. But at the end of the day, the engineers on the pit wall know what's best.
Always? Or sometimes you come out at the end of the race and you're like, guys, come on, I knew that.
I know last year we might have had some tire degradation and taking attack might be counterintuitive, not being able to use that extra power on acceleration, but with this new Hankook tire, that's not really a factor.
Driver's eye here with Stoffel Van Dorn running in 11th place. The camera inside Van Dorn's as he comes into the stadium. He's right up behind his DS Penske teammate, at the chicane. He's right behind his DS Penske, oh my goodness. He's right behind his DS Penske teammate, Jean-Eric Verne, as now he comes into the stadium section. And those two right together and kind of biding their time a little bit. There's a bit of a gap back to Fenestraz in 6th position. So then Fenestraz, Da Costa, Buemi, Evans, Verne, Van Dorn is all a bit of a queue. 0.7 of a second, the gap between Degrassi and Hughes. This is the look back from Hughes to Wehrlein behind him as they come out across the line down towards turn 1.
We normally see a big fight for the final points paying position in P10, but obviously both those teammates running 10th and 11th playing nicely so far.
Dennis's lead up to 2 seconds. He's in such control of this race, Jake Dennis. I'm not surprised by him or the team, but mistake there from Lotterer. Went very, very deep into 5 and 6, which is what he did in qualifying, and does the same here. So he falls a little bit away from the back of Wehrlein. So it's second, third, fourth, coming through the chicane. Degrassi, Hughes, Wehrlein. Then a little gap to Lotterer behind. Evans has got ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa and up into 8th position on lap 25 of 36. Now, through attack mode there goes Wehrlein and Lotterer. So Wehrlein and Lotterer both activating their second attack modes here.
Go attack, Shadow Wehrlein is going attack, go attack, go attack.
So Lotterer being told to go into attack mode because Wehrlein is. So that was a sort of defensive move really from, an aggressive move from Lotterer because they know they have more attack mode than Wehrlein.
More attack remaining.
More attack mode remaining. So now they will have an extra minute, which is almost an extra lap in attack mode to try and overtake Andre Lotterer, to try and overtake Pascal Wehrlein for 4th place.
Push for attack, push for attack.
Degrassi being told to push for attack this lap around. He's got enough of a gap at the moment on Jake Hughes as they battle over 2nd place. Back down towards the stadium once more. Degrassi in that gold and red Mahindra running up in 2nd place. Jake Hughes is right behind him. We're expecting Degrassi to go through attack mode here, and Hughes follows him through. And Wehrlein does it, and Wehrlein slots through, gets ahead of Jake Hughes. Now Hughes will have more attack mode than Pascal Wehrlein remaining. Look, you can see on the tower, Hughes will have an extra 50 kilowatts for another couple of minutes to be honest, but Wehrlein has managed to get through.
Last year's winner,
Yeah.
making a late charge, multiple podium finisher here in Mexico City.
So making a bit of progress now. Mitch Evans hasn't used his attack mode at all yet. You can see on the tower on the left, he's still got 4 minutes remaining, Evans, so he needs to crack on with it. This is what happened with Wehrlein when those two took attack mode. Wehrlein was able to just wriggle through the middle. There might even have been a bit of contact with the back of Degrassi here. There, just maybe a little nudge, but Degrassi managed to hold the place. So, Degrassi second, Wehrlein third, but now Wehrlein in third is out of attack mode. Hughes in the McLaren has attack mode, and he'll want to get back through into third place. But this will be frustrating for Hughes because he's dropped back a little now from Degrassi, the man he was fighting.
Getting information here that Evans actually missed attack, as we see Dennis going through, taking his final attack loops. Still a massive lead and complete control over Lucas Degrassi. You can see the gap there.
I mean, you were in the team last year as Jake Dennis's teammate when he had these dominant weekends, like in London and stuff like that. And when he gets a lead like this, it's kind of unstoppable.
You get that confidence as a driver.
Yeah.
You feel unbeatable, and it turns into performance on track.
Yeah. That 28 of 36. And Jake Dennis is leading the way here in Mexico City, opening race of the season. His lead is huge over Lucas Degrassi in second place. There he goes. Now here's Degrassi, Wehrlein and Hughes all fighting over that second spot. Degrassi and Wehrlein finished side by side back in season 5 after Wehrlein led the whole race, and then Degrassi nipped him right at the line when Wehrlein ran out of energy, when Wehrlein was racing for the Mahindra team. All sorts of story threads intertwining in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Wehrlein's made 3 places over the course of this race. He's having a strong race, and Hughes only has 30 seconds of attack mode left compared to Wehrlein. So down this front straight, or the advantage is gone, and he doesn't look close enough at the moment.
No, Pascal definitely on the offensive here, probably not looking in his mirrors too much.
Quite different lines through the final corner there.
Yeah, just looking for a little bit of clean air. We also remember in qualifying, he almost lost the rear of the car.
Look how much less energy Degrassi has.
He's not in good shape.
He's got 2 or 3%. That's a lap.
I can tell you that is not a good sight for the Mahindra team, and that's going to be relayed to him immediately.
Jake Dennis is leading the way, and I think...
Yeah, Pascal's going by here shortly.
Yeah, that message has been relayed, and Degrassi knows he's going to have to drive an exceptionally wide Formula E car if he wants to hold on to a podium position here. Dan Ticktum needs to remember to go. Oh, and here comes Wehrlein.
Yep, clean move.
Into
Textbook.
the chicane.
Degrassi knew he was coming.
And now Jake Hughes is going to try and take advantage of this as well. Florian Modlinger with a little round of applause in the garage. The Porsche up into second place. It's a Porsche powertrain 1-2 right now.
Wehrlein 1% more than us, Degrassi 2% less.
And that is Hughes being told Degrassi's got less energy. It's time to get him, son, by Alan Cox, his race engineer. We'll see if he does it this time, coming down the start-finish straight, on board with the British driver.
Foxtrot urgent, Foxtrot urgent.
Onto the brakes into turn 1. I say onto the brakes. Onto the brake pedal.
On regen.
And I think that Foxtrot urgent means you've got to get past this guy.
Same cryptic message that they use as Mercedes last year.
Yeah. Covers the inside here, Degrassi. Thing is for Degrassi, how much does he fight? Because the more he fights, the more he loses energy. But he's already kind of out of the energy game already, so might as well just get your elbows out and give it a go.
There's a bit of psychology behind it as well, because he knows that he's one of the most experienced drivers going against a rookie.
Yeah.
And Jake understands it as well. Jake Hughes, that is.
30 of 36. There's the energy remaining. Degrassi's pull. I mean, he's still 3% less. It's still looking tough for him. Dennis and Wehrlein looking very, very strong out front now. Dennis has built his lead up to 4 seconds again. The man's a fast sometimes. He's just disappearing up the road time and time again today. The DS Penske's have got him in the 9th and 11th, so Verne is into the points. Maybe they could come through at the end and get a few places. Di Grassi running in 3rd.
Sock is -2 on the top 6.
That's not the radio message you want to hear.
No, and 2% might sound like a little bit, but in Formula E, that's a huge pace disadvantage that Lucas Di Grassi has.
Yeah, I mean, 3% is usually about a lap, so we're talking that level of difference here, and Hughes really needs to try and get past Di Grassi as soon as possible. Well, although, I mean, if he gets past Di Grassi, can he chase in on Wehrlein? I don't know, because the gap there is up to 1.5 seconds. Here's a look at Wehrlein's move on Di Grassi. Down towards the chicane. Came from quite far back, but got the job done. Through the final corner, lap 32 of 36. Jake Dennis's lead, 4.2 seconds.
Same energy to the leader, same energy to the leader. You've got 2% more than the car behind. So just focus on efficiency, mate.
Now here's some fighting further back. Da Costa is just ahead of Fenestraz.
Evans moving on the brakes there. I mean, the rear of his car was not very stable. There's Scott Elkins.
Lap 32 of 36. Jake Dennis is leading the way. Here he is in the Andretti.
Maybe sounds like a bit of debris on track somewhere.
Yeah. .3-second lead up at the front for Jake Dennis here, which is absolutely huge, especially considering he's built up that lead once and then built it up again. And he was saying to you on the grid, was not expecting to be racing up at the front this weekend. Was it? I think
he's being modest. Once that helmet goes on and the visor drops, you've got to feel like the man.
Yeah,
you know?
but after Valencia, I don't think Porsche or Andretti came into this weekend thinking we're going to be front runners. You know, I know Dennis believes in himself. There's no doubt about that in almost every sense, especially fashion. But I think that the teams weren't expecting to be fighting for poles and wins necessarily, were they?
No, but with this new car, the new regulations, the developments, it's a development race. It's happening so fast, and these cars are nowhere near running at their full potential. At least not yet, as a couple of races and some more track time gets under these drivers' belts.
Gap to Pascal 4.5 is growing.
It's a nice message to hear.
Yeah, I bet. There you can see the gaps on the left-hand side. And still, Di Grassi is holding on here and swinging through the left-handers of the stadium section. Dennis disappearing out in front still.
Now, as a driver, you know you have the advantage. You know you have the gap to the car behind leading the race. Listening to any bump or a potential problem in the car, it's hard not to notice those things.
5 added laps. We've got 5 added laps because of the time spent behind safety car. So we now will have 8 laps to go in this Mexico City E-Prix, and that is not good news either for Lucas Di Grassi, although his energy percentage is coming back. He's only -2% now, 2.2, 2.3, which is still not great, but not a disaster. You can see, the reason you see it moving, Di Grassi goes in super deep into turns 5 and 6. That'll give him a bit more regen, I guess. The longer he's on the brakes, but he's really working hard to try and keep this place. The reason you see the percentage going up and down and increasing and decreasing is because they're regenerating energy at different points on the circuit. So that's why you see such a fluctuation. Here's Jake Hughes' radio.
Continue to increase charge where possible.
So continue to regenerate energy where possible, basically, for Jake Hughes. Di Grassi's kind of getting it back under control. It's Degrassi finishing on the podium?
I think with his experience, yes.
You reckon he can do it?
And it looks like right now that he's fast in all the right places. As a driver trying to put energy back into the car compared to your competitors, you're going to be slower in areas of the track where he knows the drivers behind can't overtake. So he's very smart at the moment.
Lotterer looks like he's getting a bit lottery in 5th position.
Oh, Jake's close now. He's going to go.
Oh, Hughes tried to kind of get the cutback coming into turn 5, but Degrassi saw it coming, and here comes Lotterer. Jake Hughes is about to have his first experience of the German man. Here they come, down towards the chicane. And there's going to be...
We'll look back up at top 5 again.
And that's Lotterer's engineer calling it exactly that Degrassi will back everyone up at turn 5, and that's exactly what he did, because he can defend there because of that kink, and that kind of leaves him safe for the chicane later on.
And he's lifting early, so he's not deploying as much energy as the cars behind trying to overtake. Just trying to get that battery percentage a bit closer to his competitors.
So we're on lap 36 of 36, but there's 5 added laps. So we've got 6 laps to go still as we come out of the final corner and across the line. Jake Dennis's lead is now 5 seconds, and then Wehrlein is 4 seconds ahead of Degrassi. Degrassi is just... This is... If Degrassi finishes on the podium here, it might be one of his great drives. He's had a lot of good drives in Formula E, but this would be quite a day for Degrassi if he's able to hold on to the podium. Oh, so close in this fight for 3rd, 4th and 5th here. Degrassi, Hughes and Lotterer for the final podium position. Through the chicane.
Foxtrot's urgent, Foxtrot's urgent.
And Hughes, that's at least the 2nd time he's been told Foxtrot urgent, which means you've got to overtake this dude. But he hasn't been able to yet. Also, keep an eye on Stoffel van Dorn and Jean-Eric Vergne in 9th and 11th. They've both got a bit more energy than those around him, and they've both got an attack mode remaining with 5 laps left at the end of this one. So just keep a little eye on them. We're into the 5 added laps now. Through the final corner, out across the line. Dennis leading. And we're on lap 1 of 5 of the added laps. And Hughes is having to defend a little here. All of this is bringing Buemi into the fight.
1.5% more energy than Degrassi.
Hughes again being told, look, you've got more energy than Degrassi. But look at Buemi in the green Envision at the back of the queue here.
It's a 4-way fight for 3rd.
Yeah.
This is the race on the track right now. Degrassi defending again. Buemi returning to the front of the grid after a struggle last year.
Yeah, joining the Envision team. Oh, Degrassi's gone in really deep into the chicane there, and he's going to be under an awful lot of pressure. Does he cover coming down into the stadium? He doesn't. So Degrassi is still fighting the fight and holding on, and he's wide, he's wide, he's wide. Is that the chance for Hughes? No. Degrassi is just... This is remarkable stuff. But he doesn't look like he's got any grip left, let alone any energy.
Textbook defending.
Yeah.
It's really good to watch from Degrassi here.
A lot of fun. Vergne activates his final attack mode, so we'll keep an eye on him. But this fight for the final podium spot is absolutely superb. Across the line we go again. Degrassi, Hughes, Lotterer, and Buemi. He didn't go in deep into the chicane on purpose, did he? To, like, sort of, I don't know, slow everyone else down a little? That doesn't seem like a tactic that's real.
No, and as we see here, going back into the sector of the track where overtaking is an opportunity.
So there's a bit of contact there as well with the Andretti's. And well, there comes Mitch Evans. He's coming to the inside here of Sasha Fenestraz and gets through. No front wing for Vergne. So Vergne's had a collision out there somewhere. He's got no front wing. He's gone heavily into the back of someone. I think Van Dorn's got damage as well.
Yeah, there's a yellow flag somewhere.
DS Penske's have got damage on the front of their cars. But here we go, back to Degrassi in 3rd place. It's all coming together now in the final few laps of the Mexico City E-Prix. Degrassi holding on to 3rd, Hughes, Lotterer and Buemi behind. And maybe there was contact there with Buemi and Lotterer, because Buemi has hit the back of Lotterer at some point too. So it's all kicking off. Across the line comes Dennis. 3 laps to go. There's the energy, and still Di Grassi and Hughes are right together.
Yellow's T7 now. Yellow's T7 now. You're smashing this, mate. There's one more lap down. Keep it up.
So yellow flags hit. Oh, there's a car on the left. It's Rast. So it's Rene Rast is off the circuit. He's in a safe location. So hopefully the race will continue. Back we go again.
Well, now he doesn't have to defend. You can't overtake under yellow.
Roland and Rast collided, apparently. So that's what happened there.
So, but is it
here
clear?
he comes!
It's clear for 11. Oh!
Whoa.
There's still a yellow.
Yeah, that's the
You can't
problem.
overtake.
It's because of that debris.
There's debris in turn 9.
So yellow at turn 7 and at turn 8. So that takes out that overtaking opportunity. And Rast didn't realise, and Hughes didn't realise, and was sort of on the full send before he realised. 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Look at this queue for 3rd place, which Antonio Felix da Costa has now joined. Absolutely remarkable. On board with Buemi, who's at the back of this queue in 6th position. And Di Grassi's got a bit of a gap to Jake Hughes now as well, as they come around the final corner to start the penultimate lap of the E-Prix. Di Grassi's gap is 0.8 of a second. That might be enough for 2 more laps. He's suddenly not defending from Jake Hughes quite as aggressively, and Lotterer is still nosing to the inside.
2 laps left, 0.5% to Hughes.
He's done a remarkable job here, Lucas Di Grassi. Absolutely remarkable. Still 2 laps to go, make that a lap and a half.
Still a yellow. We'll see if the debris is cleared.
Yeah, it might just be... Oh, a look from Buemi. But again, that's into the... Oh, I think the debris is still there. So I think the yellow flag is still there at turn 8. But look at Lotterer now. He's going to get impatient. Running in 5th place. No, and not into the stadium section. Wow. Thought about it. On board with the Avalanche Andretti driver, running in 5th place. His teammate is disappearing up the road. Jake Dennis leading as he starts the final lap of the Mexico City E-Prix. He's 7.5 seconds ahead of Pascal Wehrlein in 2nd place. And now is the battle for 3rd coming into view. Lucas Di Grassi, he's got a good advantage over Hughes.
Yeah, it's
with
the race
1
for
lap to
4th
go.
now. Hughes defending into turn 1,
Di
radio.
Grassi.
Same energy as Di Grassi.
No risk.
Whoa, Lotterer forces it around the outside. Hughes holds the inside line coming into turn 3. And how much pressure is Lotterer under from Buemi? A bit, but he manages to keep it together. How racy is Da Costa? Da Costa goes to the outside at the back of the queue in the Porsche. There's a bit of contact between Lotterer and Hughes ahead of him. Fenestraz has now dropped out of the points and down into 13th place. And there's the move. It's a slippery. I think it's a slippery surface flag now. I don't think it's a yellow anymore there at the chicane. So that seems like a legitimate move for Lotterer. He's got up into 4th place. Hughes drops down to 5th. But the other Avalanche Andretti is coming through the final corner. And Jake Dennis starts Gen 3 of Formula E with a superb, dominant win in Mexico City. Jake Dennis wins and is the first winner of the season. The first winner of season 9. Pascal Wehrlein across the line in 2nd place after winning here last year. 3rd is going to be Di Grassi. He comes out the final corner now and takes the checkered flag.
Oh my God.
Disbelief from Jake Dennis over the line. Super impressive. Completely dominated.
We got more action. There's a DS Penske going slowly out of the final corner. He's out of energy as he comes across the line. It's Verne. Jean-Eric Verne out of energy as he comes through. And he ends up finishing in 12th place. Only 1 point for DS Penske. But it's Jake Dennis who wins for Andretti.
Fantastic, fantastic, Jake. Well done, super race. Complete domination, well done. What a start to the season.
Remarkable performance from Jake Dennis. We'll try and have a word with him now. Jake, it's Jack, you're live on TV. What a dominant race that was, easy. Well, I think he's too busy celebrating to speak to us there. Jake, it's Jack here. Congratulations! What a dominant win that was.
He's too emotional.
Yeah, too emotional to talk to me. Understandably so. But Dennis pulls up in the Foro Sol. That is now 4 podiums in the last 5 races for Jake Dennis. And I'm not going to lie, Oliver Askew. On the Formula E show, post FP1, we gave our predictions. You said I predict Jake Dennis for the win. And I thought you were just being a bit stupid. I thought you were being like...
insider information.
I thought you were just being like, oh, you know, former teammate, just saying it to be kind. It was true. It was true. My pick scored 1 point. Stoffel van Dorn. And De Grassi, that is... Today's been one of the best drives of De Grassi's career, in my opinion. Like, including qualifying that Mahindra on pole and racing it to 3rd was a joke of a drive from De Grassi. Unbelievable. And Wehrlein's on the podium again with a 2nd place finish.
Great, go on, Jake. Enjoy this.
Jake Dennis, the winner of the Mexico City E-Prix. Dennis, guess what? Set the fastest lap of the race as well. Fastest lap bonus. He becomes the 16th driver to lead the Formula E World Championship. First time he has led it. And Andretti win the first race in Gen 3 in the same way they won the first race in Gen 2. Time to get some tequila. After his first race win, Jake Dennis, he said, he came on the radio and he said, oh, we're having some beers tonight, lads. It was only 2 races later I found out doesn't like beer, but he didn't want to come on the radio and say, time for some vodka cokes tonight, lads, because he thought he'd sound like a bit of an idiot.
Right.
But tequila's a fair enough one. Are you out with Dennis tonight? You might have to be now.
Potentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a big one. Lucas de Grassi, 10 out of 10 today. What a drive. Absolutely. I'm putting that my top Lucas de Grassi drive.
Yes. A drive that
including
has to be noted. Definitely a contender for drive of the day.
Difficult to take it away from that man, though, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
And Pascal Wehrlein, good job in the Porsche, kind of quietly crept through the order and up the field.
2 Porsche powertrains, as we spoke about.
Yeah.
Performing very well. So here in Mexico.
There were the point scorers on the left-hand side. Make sure you keep across all of Formula E socials and stuff, and we'll get to the bottom of what happened to the DS Penske's, because they both finished with damage. Gunther finished in 11th. Fenestras finished 15th.
That's a good one.
For some reason. Certainly was. Hughes finishing 5th when will McLaren feel they should have finished 2nd in that race?
It's his first race as a rookie.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to give it to him. A top 5 leaving here.